Hello everybody, Mitzi Cruz here, host of Lincoln Live, and today we're going to go ahead and test out the strength of this microphone because the train's in the background, and as you guys know, if you have lived in Lincoln for any length of time, the train is just one of those
you deal with it.
Yeah, it's just Lincoln. It's Lincoln, so there you go. But today we are live with Jean Cruz. Jean is with the Art League of Lincoln, as a member of the Art League of Lincoln, one of the founding members. She and her husband Dan have been here for many, many years, and you may recognize her from a prior episode of Lincoln Live. So the reason why we wanted to go ahead and talk with Jean again is because she's incredible, number one. Okay. And number two, she has been instrumental in getting these murals that you may see throughout downtown Lincoln erected, planned, helps with the painting, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to let her tell you more about that. But without further ado, here is Jean, and thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be part of Lincoln. We're excited about the art in Lincoln, and we're working on trying to find more. And if there's any artists out there, or if you know someone who wants to paint a mural, have them call or contact the Art League of Lincoln. We have some really great artists represented down here, and I'm privileged to be part of the project. So I always wanted to participate in my community. When I first moved to Lincoln, I read a biography of Carrie Gladding. Sorry, Carrie Gladding. Left a great impression. She was so involved with the community, and I said, that's my goal. And there's a lot of people who are very dedicated, and I was thrilled this past year to work with the Lincoln Leadership, which is a class that the Chamber offers to learn more about your community, to be more of service. So it was fun. We made the wings on the back of the old theater, which is now Emmaus Church.
Well, and you know, for those of you that have been watching religiously weekly, let me just point out that you have probably heard quite a bit about the Leadership Lincoln class over and over and over. So I mean, yes. You know, if you haven't looked into it by now, please do look into it. It's offered through the Chamber of Commerce, and it is an incredible class. You can learn a lot about your community, how you can get involved, and just how the infrastructure, how we all work. I know there's a lot of different things. We're growing right now, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions on that. So one of the ways to learn how to make your opinion heard and kind of have some input on that at this level would be to get involved with leadership and become a part of that.
And you get to tour Gladdy McBean, which is not something that's available anymore, just special groups. But my husband, that's what brought us to Lincoln. My husband worked for Gladdy McBean for 23 years. And I was fortunate enough to be the first sculptor in the models and molds, the first woman sculptor in models and molds in the early 2000s. And that was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us, so I understand that there's an art walk.
There is an art walk. Basically, kind of, if you figure the square block that is F to Lincoln Boulevard, and 5th Street to 6th Street is basically it. We have the alley that goes next to Bierman Plaza. And down that alley are 6 murals, plus some other art pieces that have been done privately. There's one that I did for Sierra Hills Framing that is just pieces of memorabilia from Gladdy McBean that I had gotten over the years, and that's a sort of a sculpture on the wall. The mural, we had a contest, and we had a number of artists from Sacramento, a number of local artists. One, Rafael Blanco, who is just a wonderful man, did the Hispanic dancers, and on the side of the Mercado, and then Dylan Silva, who I told you is a student. He did the walk down memory lane in the back of Clinton's motorcycles. I'm blanking out on a couple of the artists, but you can get a map, and it shows you where all the different art is placed. And this is the newest one.
Yeah, so actually tell us about this mural.
Well, 2 years ago, I was contacted by Pam Lopez from Mr. Pickles, and she said, could you donate a painting to the Choco-Ball?
Yes.
And I said, well, I'd be happy to do that, but usually art doesn't do as well as you think it's going to do. Because if I donated a 5x7, somebody wants it 8x10 or,
right.
Something different. And we were in the middle of, we just kind of been doing a lot of the murals. Dennis Mortenson's was the first one on the side of Family Dollar. Mm-hmm. And Victor Verhoeven, who is a sculptor at Gladdy McBean, did the one on the side of Simple Pleasures.
Okay.
And anyway, I was full of that, and so I said, how about if I donate a custom mural? And I'll do it, and we'll put it up, and we'll raise some money for the Downtown Lincoln Association. So the night of the event, there was a $500 minimum bid, and they opened the silent auction, and I was sitting next to the mayor at the time, Stan Nader, and finally he says, they're having a bidding war, these two ladies. And I said, what? And he said, well, they just keep going back and forth. And so when they closed the bidding, the top bidder was Sherry Dornbush. No, I'm sorry. Lorraine and Nick Greco, who were rice farmers here in Lincoln, and very, very big supporters of the high school and the zebras. At first they wanted zebras, and so I started working on that, and then the Public Art Committee said maybe, something more general for the community. So Lorraine said rice, they were rice farmers.
Yeah.
So I started researching rice, but while we were still at the event, I'm sorry, I tend to get out of sync here.
That's okay.
After they announced who won, Stan leaned over to me and he says, "Why don't you go over there and offer a second one to the other lady?" And it turned out to be Christine Mollenkopf-Haig, our city attorney, and she said, sure. So the two murals raised $5,100 for the Downtown Lincoln Association. I was just amazed, and anyway, it took a while for all the pieces and parts to come together, and excuse me, flies.
Are you taking pictures of you?
Yes, we're doing
a video.
CNN tonight, huh?
Okay. Anyway, so we decided that we wanted to do the rice harvest.
Yes.
And they gave me a photograph of their farm, and so that's kind of the background there. The sunset, I've always loved the sunset in Lincoln, and Paul Joyner told me at the time, his wife is from a rice harvesting family, farming family, and she said a lot of the harvesting does take place into the night because they have to get so much done in a certain period of time.
Sure.
And I can't remember why I threw the geese in, but I just
well, it's beautiful.
They were fun.
Yeah.
And I haven't drawn too many rice harvesters in the past, but anyway, it was fun. I love creating work that can be enjoyed by a multitude of people.
Yes.
Which is why my passion is public art. I did the mural on the outside mural on Dillion's, and that was fun. And there's 144 bottles of beer on the wall. No, actually, it's whiskey. I think it was or maybe I cut them in. I didn't do the reflections, so they're 77, but try 77 bottles of whiskey.
Sounds like a fun Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could survive.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm excited to get, I'm in the last stages of finishing Lady Justice, which is the second mural that Christine wanted. And so it's going to go on the west side
Yes.
of the ABC fiduciary.
Uh-huh.
The Adams, the old Adams building, which was the old B of A building, which was who knows what before. Anyway, it's going to go back there. It's going to overlook the Scout Park, and it's going to overlook the Bierman Plaza. So that should be fun.
So, for those of you that don't know, that actually happens to be the exterior of my office building. So, where we're located right now, we are right at the corner of 5th and F, and this behind us, this is Lincoln Chinese. So, if you don't recognize it, well, I'll tell you what, the smell is wafting out. And I'm after my carbs, so, we'll see how that goes, but it smells incredible, but I digress. So, we're kitty corner from the Mercado, where what did you call that mural? The name of it?
The Fiesta. I don't know if he actually gave it a name.
Sure.
Rafael Blanco was a art professor up in Quincy at
Okay.
Feather River College, and he has since moved to Chicago to work in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we miss having him close because he was great energy, great professional artist, and worked quickly. But like I said, we're always looking for other people to submit ideas, concepts, placement.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And then we will try to, get permissions and all that stuff.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. So, my office being so close, I watched that mural as it was being painted. He did a phenomenal job. The expression on the dancer's face is just beautiful. So you've got to come check that out. So, as you'll notice as you're walking up and down 5th and 6th Streets and between F and E Streets, this is just an incredible addition to the Lincoln community. Specifically, I'm, of course, super excited about Lady Justice, who will be on the west side of the building, actually right by the door to my office. So if you enter right into that door, if you have your school supplies, bring them in. We're still collecting through August 24th, and I digress on that as well. But anyway, that's where Lady Justice will be, in Scouts Plaza, overlooking Scouts Plaza.
One last comment about the map. You can go into some of the stores. The DLA has put the map into certain stores. I don't know exactly which ones yet. Or you can go into the Art League and request a map. They might have them. You can download it from the Art League website. And possibly there's others that I don't know about. But anyway, it leads you right around the block here and tells you about the artist, the name of the work, and I think that's it.
And for time's sake, I want to just touch on a couple things before we wrap up. The Downtown Lincoln Association, if you're unfamiliar with that organization, it's a group of local business owners, community advocates, and also some of our dignitaries in the community that have all formed this incredible organization to make sure that as we grow as a community, that the downtown community stays relevant, that there are shops and services that are being offered to the Lincoln community that consumers and members of the Lincoln community are looking for. So incredible organization. There's a website. You can go to the DLA, and it's terrible that I don't know the name of the website offhand because I'm actually a board member. So I will go ahead and I'm a new board member, so just give me a little bit of grace. But we'll go ahead and get that information so that you can take a look. But I believe it's downtownlincolnca.com. And get more involved. But that's an organization that's behind a lot of the events that take place throughout the year, such as the Chocolate Lovers Ball
and the food trucks.
Food trucks.
First week in September. First Tuesday in September.
First Tuesday of September. Things have cooled down a little bit. Also, the Downtown Lincoln Scarecrow Contest. Also, the oh my goodness, I'm gonna forget the name of the event. No, Lincoln Showcase is a chamber event, but the wine during the day. Wine Fest, thank you, the Wine Fest as well. So a lot of different events.
We partner with Rotary, I believe.
Yeah, Rotary, exactly. Partnering with Rotary, and then there's Santa in the Plaza, the tree lighting, all of those things. So there's a lot of overlap with local organizations that are really just helping Lincoln to preserve its culture as we continue to grow. So definitely check out the DLA too. Huge shout out, great organization, and you know, the big supporter of the art walk as well. So any final thoughts? But oh, you know what, we didn't give anybody an opportunity to ask questions. So do you have any questions, comments, anything? I know that we're on a different day today. That's because I'll be out of town tomorrow. So if we don't have the interaction that we typically have, I totally understand.
There's a difference between how long it should have taken me to paint it and how long I actually worked on it. As I said, I had a lot of delays this last year, and basically it took over a year, but typically it would take maybe 6 weeks. It depends on the subject matter, you know, and how much I can put myself into it rather than trying to create something to match somebody else's desires.
Sure.
You know, that's the challenge. I consider myself a custom artist. I make things for people that can't make their own things. And so I'm constantly trying to get feedback from them. You know, do you like this? Do you not like this? You know, but it's fun. It's fun. I started making custom artwork 40 years ago, 45 years ago.
Wow.
I told them that at the ripe old age of 71, I wasn't going to do scaffolding anymore or ladders. But, you know, I'm looking to help others to do their own creations too. So that's good.
That is awesome. And I know that the Lincoln community appreciates you and all of your continued contribution.
Thank you very much.
And I just want to thank you again for joining us today and for your time and for coming back on Lincoln Live, because we just think you're incredible. So we'll have you on and we'll have you back on.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll see you back with a raffle, and you guys have a great one.